I am Jason Abraham, the Shadow Teacher 33. And for the light worker, for the awakening soul, you're learning to understand the subtle realms that go beyond the material, the subtle realms that are some of the guiding principles that manifest in this material world. And one of those forces is the force of polarity, the force of attraction and repulsion. And many people who are walking through their lives, sleepwalking through their lives, I should say, who are acting out of their unconscious, not aware, many people attract what they claim not to want, and they repel that which they desire. And as I've continued to study more and dive in my own experience, why is this? Why do I do that? Where does this come from? One of the things I notice is that, again, going back to a video I've done on attraction and on letting go, looking at the reality transurfing model of balancing forces. Much of the time when we desire something and we state a desire and we obsess over the desire, our focus again is becoming wanting something, which is affirming that we are separate from it, as opposed to stating this is something I intend to create, I intend to be, I intend to pull into my life, I intend to attract, so I'm going to start acting and doing things that increase the chances of that happening, and letting it go and having faith that it will. What most people tend to do is they will keep saying, I want this, I want that, which creates, again, the repulsive effect. And with negative stuff, which is kind of interesting, a lot of times people focus on their fear, and when their fear is in their mind, much of what the mind is thinking of is like, how can I avoid this terrible thing that I don't want to happen to me? How can I avoid this thing that's happening? How can I escape this thing that I believe is going to happen, or this awful thing? And so they're, by kind of coming from that standpoint, they're actually charging that fear, and they're accepting and going around with the belief that this awful thing is going to happen to me, or this awful thing is happening, and I am doomed unless I figure out a way through my worrying so that somehow miraculously I could escape this fate. And so hence people a lot of times attract that which they do not want, because they believe that is, they have faith in that which they do not want happening. And even though their conscious mind is thinking by worrying or thinking by putting a lot of attention on it, they can somehow figure out a way to avoid it, but it works the opposite way. So what I've found, once again, it comes back to our beliefs. Like with something that we intend to attract, if we truly believe we're going to get it, if we truly believe we're going to become what we desire to be and attract what we desire into our lives, if we truly believe that, then we don't obsess over it. We don't constantly talk about the desire and obsess in a way. Here's stories where sometimes that does work for people who are single-minded in vision, but generally most people it doesn't work that way for. But if you truly believe, and actually I'll add this, those who are single-minded in vision, a lot of times they are doing the action and they have the talent, they have these other things that are related to becoming and already being that kind of person who's going to achieve it. So that's why that works in that situation. But most people, not the case. Most people just want stuff, don't know how to get it, and just talk about wanting it. But when you truly believe it, then you are going to act as if, the whole thing, acting as if. And that is the process of becoming. Having faith and then becoming, and opening up to synchronicities and information that comes to you that's related to the thing that you want, and acting from the new information, and then becoming as you integrate new ways of being into your body, And with the negative stuff, you hear about the spiritual bypass, so people who are in denial of negativity. That's not the way to, that's the right thing either, is to deny and walk around in a state of avoiding and denying any kind of negative threat. You know, fear is a useful emotion. Fear is there to warn you of danger. But instead, well, when you're able to feel your fears, when you're able to when you're able to feel those negative emotions, feel them, acknowledge them, see them, and then let them go. Then say, you know, I'm not going to dwell on this. I'm not going to perpetually worry over this. I'm going to see this, and I'm going to acknowledge what I can do about this and do the best I can, and then I'm going to let it go the best I can. Again, this is not easy, but what I find is when you can do that, or I'm going to redirect. I'm going to let go, and I'm going to redirect my attention somewhere else, because it's not fruitful for me to obsess over this negative thing and trying to figure out how I can avoid it when no information is coming to me. But again, the letting go there, kind of working in the opposite way, is how we can sometimes avoid these things we don't want attaching to us. Vibration, you know, as our vibration attracts what's likeness to us. So when we find people that we don't want to be like, but yet we are kind of vibrating the same way they are, they're kind of a reflection of us, and we're getting emotionally charged because, well, I don't want to be like that guy. This person is disgusting. When that's such a big charge to us, sometimes it's because we're vibrating there on our own level, and we kind of attract to it. But when you raise the vibration, when you actually are vibrating in these higher frequencies of courage or acceptance, of willingness, of peace, of joy, love, then you kind of have like a repulsor field anyway. It's like you don't have to try so hard, and some of the negative, undesirable people and circumstances, they just don't have the same effect on you. It's a natural repulsor field. So anyway, that element again of just kind of becoming, going back to the becoming the being that is worthy of attaining that which you want, also works as becoming the being that naturally repels that which you don't want. It just kind of works out that way. And even though there will always be vampires who want to sink their fangs into you, when you have this higher state of being, you're usually going to be better at setting boundaries, and you just simply are tapped into your power, and you know that you don't have to allow something that you don't want. You don't have to give it permission. So that being said, mastering and understanding the forces of attraction and repulsion, polarity, is crucial in the schooling of a light worker. Hope this is inspiring and helpful for those who need to hear it. I'll see you on the other side.